AITA for blocking my friend of 10 years after she committed a HIPAA violation against me? I 23F blocked my longtime friend Alice, 23F of 10 years after she used her work computer to look up my health insurance information without my consent. The worst part is she took a photo of it, sent it through messages which her boyfriend of 1 year has access to. Some context: from my POV, her boyfriend is leeching off of her. She's spent thousands of dollars on dates, including a motorcycle that was impounded by police because he didn't bother getting his license or permit. He has used her credit card to buy drugs, has driven her car while intoxicated, and uses everything she owns, including her laptop that he uses to read all of her private conversations. I fear he is isolating her from everyone around her, and it's working. When I saw the photo, she laughed it off, and I was scared but pissed. I asked her why she would do that, and she said she was just curious. I asked her how stupid she could be, not knowing what HIPAA was if she works at a doctor's clinic. She never responded and left me on read, I assumed to run to our other friend Bella. No real apology or accountability. After 2 weeks, I blocked her. I confided in Bella and Cassie about the situation. Cassie was incredibly understanding, not understanding what possessed Alice to do this. Bella, on the other hand, loves to play devil's advocate and has always had animosity towards me. Bella said that Alice only had good intentions and that she was only being playful and trying to connect with me as a friend. I found BS and explained that if Alice wanted to connect with me, she could have been an adult and communicated with me, asking for permission before risking her job, committing a HIPAA violation, and possibly leaking my information. I told Bella, what if my SSN was on there? What if Alice's boyfriend saw it as an opportunity to take credit cards out in my name? Days pass, Bella wants to hang out. I agree, but informed her that I had blocked Alice and that we were no longer friends. I told her that she and Cassie were welcome to stay friends with Alice, but that I want to hang out separately. Bella leaves me on read and doesn't reply for days. When she does, she responds along the lines of, I'm sorry that I hurt you, but that if you didn't want my opinion, you should have said so, and next time, I'll keep it to myself. It's clear we both have very different opinions about things. IDK, it felt like she was pushing the blame back to me instead of taking accountability. This week, Cassie and I were supposed to hang out. She flaked the first day, claiming she took an extra shift, but then ghosted me completely the second time. After a few days, she apologized and asked if I'm free this weekend. I said, depends, have you heard from Bella? She replied, yeah, I went out with her yesterday. Why? Did you want to do something with all of us together? I realized that Bella, who mentioned in her apology text that Cassie mentioned a jewelry stand and that we should all go, had gone with Cassie to that same stand the day Cassie and I were supposed to hang out. After Bella dropped Cassie off, she texted me with the apology message. I've been trying to spend time with both only to be ghosted and left behind. I feel like they used the opportunity to discuss things behind my back. Now, I feel like I'm being iced out. I'm starting to feel like they're planning some intervention/ambush to get me to forgive Alice. The trust is gone and I feel hurt. I've tried being honest and setting boundaries, but now I'm wondering if I'm being excluded for standing up for myself. Now I'm wondering. AITA for blocking Alice over this? And WIPTA if I distanced myself from Bella and Cassie too? Any thoughts? Update. I apologize for taking so long, but I have an update. Also sorry in advance for the long post. A quick recap of my original post with new names. My best friend of 10 years, A is now Alice, used her work computer to look up my health insurance information, took a photo using her phone and sent me the screenshot through messages. Alice works at a doctor's clinic and her boyfriend has access to her messages via her laptop that he uses. After no sincere apology and no response from her, I blocked her. After explaining what happened to B is now Bella, who usually plays devil's advocate, dismissed my concerns, claiming Alice was just trying to be playful and was only trying to connect with me. I spoke to C is now Cassie, who was the only one who saw the absurdity and seriousness of it all. But after Cassie went out with Bella, one the days we were supposed to hang out, Cassie ghosted me out of nowhere. I was left feeling iced out, hurt and confused. There were a lot of questions, so here's some clarification. Update will be down below. Why did she look up my information and take a photo? I have been dealing with health issues that are progressively getting worse and I have no answers and had no decent doctor. I think she took it upon herself to try and help by looking up my health insurance information. When asked why, she texted she was curious. I know she had good intentions, but I never gave her permission to look up my info or take a photo. If Alice had just asked me, I would have said no since I didn't want her jeopardizing her job. But also, if she would have only asked me, I would have let her know that I had already found a new doctor. Who did she send the photo to? As far as I know, just me. But her boyfriend uses her laptop and basically everything she owns. I believe he's read our conversations, which I had no clue until he brought up my health concerns that I confided in Alice, and has also sent me a few messages not clarifying it was him. So there was a very real possibility he saw the photo. More info. My SSN was not in the photo. I only said, what if it was? If it was, it would have been more serious. My name, address, birthday, and health insurance information was on there. Now for the update. After posting, I filed an official HIPAA complaint through the OCR website after many comments suggested it. I also reflected on this friend group and realized we had all been drifting apart for some time now. Even before the incident, Alice and I were growing apart. Bella started showing more signs of animosity and resentment here and there. But Cassie? We were actually growing closer, so when she started ghosting me, I was left hurt and confused. Later, Bella sent me a text inviting me to a group hangout with some of her friends, including Cassie but not Alice. I assume this was an intervention disguised as a hangout to maybe mend things between Alice, but I can't be for certain. I replied that while I appreciated the thought, I was not comfortable hanging out and did not like how some things were handled or said, especially since Bella tried shifting the blame to me when she texted me an apology beforehand. I also said that I needed space to reevaluate some things, but I told her to have fun and to stay safe. She replied, wishing me the best, but if I needed anything she was going to be waiting for me while respecting my need for space. I haven't reached out since, but I've been thinking about it. Weeks passed and I was still stuck up on the situation. My SIL got tired and finally asked me why I couldn't let it go. After taking some time to reflect on the reasons and my choices, I put my big girl pants on and made the decision to call. I called, got connected to the manager and explained what happened. I offered to email the screenshots, and because of the small size of the clinic, they had to create a completely new email so I could send everything. The next day, I received an email explaining that the clinic would be starting their investigation days earlier than they initially said. Days passed, and I received a conclusion email giving me their thanks for having the courage to report and what they did. They put Alice on leave and reviewed the logs for several days. They brought her in for an HR meeting and decided on training Alice with some HIPAA training and are putting in measures so that this will never happen again. I'm sure this is not the update many expected or hoped for. I did what many recommended, but the decision was ultimately up to the clinic. I hope this was a wake-up call for Alice. I haven't heard anything from Alice, Bella, and Cassie since. My thoughts are that Alice made a stupid and careless mistake that nearly costed her job and ended our friendship. She's always had the habit of making careless mistakes without thinking or caring about the consequences until they came. As for her boyfriend, I don't know him that well, but I've seen red flags he's presented in person and from what Alice has told me. For why I didn't tell her, she's the type to not listen/make excuses about her relationship. Besides, I wouldn't be the first friend to drop her because of her behavior once she started dating her boyfriend. I also want to briefly say that when writing my original post, it was 4 a.m. and I was shaking with anxiety at the realization that I just lost my closest friends of a decade. I regret how messy it sounded with more gossip and ranting than actual facts of what happened, and I apologize for that. I hope that this update shows that I actually took time to process things and approach it with more maturity than my first one. Thank you everyone who responded to my original post with advice, support, and even criticism. I think the blunt comments calling me a doormat were the most helpful in helping me reflect about everything. I know it took me some time, but in the end, I called and got some closure. I think this whole situation pushed me to improve myself for the better, not just as a person but to be a better friend to the future friends I'll meet. Thanks for reading, and at this moment, it will probably be my only update unless something significant happens. Edit. For those wondering, I deleted my first post. It had more detail and unnecessary venting that I was not comfortable leaving up, but this update has the important facts of the story up in the recap. Thanks for understanding.